Part 41. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Benpao de la Chang. Chapter 401. Stop talking about this, do you have any way to wake up Li Bai? Xuanhuan Destiny said impatiently from the side. Immediately, these creatures took turns to attack, no matter whether they used words or attacks, they were of no use. In the end, even some secrets, including the secrets of the new era, were revealed without hesitation. However, even this is of no use at all. Just like, you can never wake up someone who is pretending to sleep. Damn it, it doesn't work. We have tried countless methods, but it doesn't work. It's so weird. What kind of thing could make Li Bai drag everything with him to be buried with him? At this moment, Li Bai's 7 clones appeared. You are here, hurry up, persuade Li Bai. You are all Li Bai's clones, it should have some effect. At this moment, innate destiny, regardless of the majesty of the innate originator, shouted loudly. My lord! My dear, we are here, what happened? Innate destiny, what exactly have you done? If anything happens to me, we will drag all of you to be buried with me. The 7 clones roared with great anger. We'll talk about these things later. Contact Li Bai first. After hearing these words, the 7 clones also knew the importance and could not care so much for the time being, so they hurriedly contacted Li Bai. 1 second, 2 seconds. No, we can't contact my heart. I seem to have completely blocked myself. What should I do? If this continues, I will definitely. Afterwards, all the creatures once again used countless methods. They even used the Taisha formation. In the end, it was all in vain. They could not wake up Li Bai, nor could they harm Li Bai in the slightest. At this moment, they finally realized how powerful Li Bai was. You have to tell us what happened, your innate destiny, otherwise, we won't know where to start. Dark Disaster recalled the origin of all this, and spoke quickly to the innate destiny. After all, Li Bai became like this after talking to his innate destiny. Just when he was still hesitating about his innate destiny, he heard a creature say in fear. No, look, the law of the beginning is actually falling off, burying the era. Does it need to be so thorough? Isn't this a humming complete restart? How is this possible? How is this possible? Li Bai has such strength. It's over, we're going to be finished. Li Bai, I won't let you go even if I'm a ghost. Damn it, your sister, if I had known, I wouldn't have joined your plan. I regret it so much. All the creatures said in fear, the worst result has finally appeared. That is, the collapse of the law of the beginning and the law of the original. After all, these 2 laws were created after the creation of the beginning. Generally speaking, burying an era only sacrifices all living beings and will not touch the most basic structures. If it falls off, it means that everything must be completely buried, just like those innate origins buried that era. No, it should be more serious. After all, there is still time for the defeat. Innate destiny, the spirit of the long river of time, and the dark disaster are completely filled with fear, especially the spirit of the long river of time. He even tries to restart time and restart the era. Despair is gradually coming. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that, Li Bai, I'm sorry. Innate destiny murmured dully. However, at this moment, somewhere there was a creature saying with a smile. Sir, your acting skills are also very good. I was almost deceived by you. I really thought that you would use all your power, even at the expense of your own life, to completely erase this era. However, this is indeed the most extreme and best way to see him. However, I am curious, how do you know this method before you have recovered your memory? Could it be, you left a piece of memory fragment in your mind before, just for today's result, But this can't happen. Forget it, forget about it. I don't know how you, my lord, are going to calm the emotions of these creatures in the end. Gradually, hundreds of small worlds have directly decayed. As for some origin worlds, they have also begun to fall into complete chaos. Even some forbidden places are not immune. For example, Yuanxu, Boundless Sea, Fate, and Disaster. A forbidden place like Urti. Countless creatures howled and shouted. They don't know what they have done wrong to cause such a world-destroying disaster. Of course, they don't understand that this disaster targets all living beings of this era. At the next moment when everyone was in despair, an ancient and distant echoing voice continued to wash through the space. At the same time, under the echo of this sound, the speed of decay was gradually slowing down. Okay, Li Bai, your goal has been achieved. I'm here to see you. It has to be you. You actually thought of using this method to force me to show up. I really think highly of myself. But it's true. Although you have no memory, your personality is still the same. I have a pity for my old bones. I really can't stand it. Who is talking? Suddenly, everyone was facing a great enemy. This voice was too aggressive. Even the innate originator of dark disaster felt the extreme fear from the heart. Of course, it was still not as deadly as the breath released by Li Bai. And at the moment this sentence appeared, Li Bai's eyes, which were originally deadly, gradually showed a little light, and the darkness was slowly dispelled. And the wisp of decay on his body was also gradually dissipating. In an instant, everyone was facing a great enemy, as if the feeling of the world's destruction disappeared. The Taishu law, which was gradually falling off, also slowly returned to the right track. Recovered, look, Li Bai is back to normal. Great, finally he doesn't have to die. The spirit of the long river of time also shouted loudly at this moment. Damn, the time node has been restored, and the originally collapsed time point is also intact. Who is the owner of that sentence just now? A few words actually made Li Bai regain his sanity. Also, what is the purpose of what he said just now? Dark Disaster and others looked around in confusion. Only, Xiantian Destiny fell into silence, because he just felt a breath, a very familiar breath, but she didn't believe her intuition now. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 402. After a long time, Li Bai finally returned completely, and his breath returned to its original appearance. Then, he slowly exhaled and said, Haha, if you don't come, I'm afraid I will really fall into it. To be honest, this feeling of decaying everything about yourself is really uncomfortable. Now I know how painful it is for a creature to die in this way. Hearing Li Bai's words, the 7 clones said excitedly. My dear, you finally woke up. My lord, do you know that you almost scared us to death just now, and we also deeply felt the decadent aura. Haha, old friend, you are really. Li Bai, damn you, you really know how to cause trouble. It's okay, everything is not irreversible. All living beings said with lingering fear that when despair really came, they really felt that they were about to die. This was probably the only time in their lives that they were closest to death. Never heard of death, but infinitely close to death. Knowing that we have reached the edge of the cliff, the next step is an abyss, but it is difficult to stop at the cliff. Ahem, I really didn't expect that I would attract you all here. It seems that I made a lot of noise. Li Bai looked at the familiar creatures in front of him and said with a smile. Li Bai, you are still smiling with a big smile on your face. Do you know that I almost thought I was going to die? I am the spirit of the long river of time. The time river creature said angrily. Even if you really die, a new one will be born immediately, so why worry? Unless, I really completely erase the long river of time. Li Bai said lightly. What, listening to your words, can you really do it? The spirit of time river asked suspiciously. Who knows, but if you want, I can give it a try. There was a smile on Li Bai's lips, and he seemed gentle, but in the eyes of time, this was the real madman, the real devil, the real madness. Holy shit, I'm just kidding, I'm still young. Don't worry, I won't do that unless absolutely necessary. Hearing Li Bai's words of assurance, the spirit of the river of time was relieved. He was really afraid. Li Bai's head felt hot and he really tried. Li Bai, I'm sorry. If I had known that something like that would happen, I would never have spoken out about the possibility. Innate destiny, looking at Li Bai, he said guiltily. Don't blame yourself, even if you don't say it, it doesn't mean I don't know. Okay, I don't have anything to do to leave. You can leave first. It's your destiny that you stay here. Li Bai said slowly to everyone. Okay, since there's nothing wrong, I'll leave first. Our plan is at an important time. Me too. I'm leaving too. Although the time node has been repaired, there are still some hidden dangers left just now. Old friend, next time this happens again, you must explain it in advance. After finishing speaking, the figures of all living beings disappeared into the space without leaving a trace of breath, as if they had never been there. Is it time to come out? Li Bai said lightly. Not in a hurry. Do you know that the method you just used was very extreme? The owner of the voice just now said again. Of course I know, I'm not stupid. After all, this is also my first attempt. It's just that the conditions for this method are too harsh. Before, I tried to deny everything about myself, but, you know, I couldn't do it. I, Li Bai, cannot deny myself. Li Bai said slowly, this sentence seemed extremely arrogant, so arrogant that there was no limit to it. Even those who were born with innate origins did not dare to say that they could not deny themselves. Of course, it was precisely because of this special nature that they were talking about that Li Bai. However, with the blessing of countless epochs, a crack finally appeared. All it takes is a fatal blow that I believe in, and everything you weave is the best fatal blow. Then, a trace of fear flashed in Li Bai's eyes. How could he not be afraid just now? He definitely didn't want to have that smell of decaying everything in him again. Especially when those scenes gradually disappeared, at that moment, he really thought about corrupting everything about himself, and tried every means to make everything happen again. Ha 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 ha, I really belong to you, Li Bai, you can always set up all kinds of traps in all conspiracies, and then bite back. But really speaking, you should thank me, right? The man's voice sounded extremely excited, as if what he saw in Li Bai was exactly what he expected. Thank you, that's right. I wouldn't have tried it without all you did. Li Bai said lightly. When did you first have this idea and prepare to try it? The man then asked slowly, and he had never shown his face from beginning to end. That time in the Origin War. The Battle of Origins. That's right, even in that war, I still didn't get what I wanted, so I tried this method. Li Bai said slowly. I see. At that time, we thought you were just venting your itchy hands. The man's voice was full of teasing. Why don't you ask me how I know this method? Hearing the man's words, Li Bai said with a smile. No, because you are Li Bai. These three words represent infinite possibilities. I won't be surprised if you can do anything. There was unparalleled certainty in the man's voice, as if he believed in himself more than Li Bai himself. Haha, I really didn't expect that in the end, the people I trusted the most would be you. It's really ironic. Li Bai said with a smile. Isn't this normal? Other creatures don't understand it, but we don't understand it? No, what on earth are you talking about? Why don't I understand? Xiantian Destiny asked slowly from the side. I'm sorry, I want to say sorry to you. Li Bai said to his innate destiny. What do you mean, why are you saying sorry to me? Innate destiny is becoming more and more doubtful. Haha, innate destiny. It's very simple, Li Bai took advantage of you. Oh, no, to be precise, he also used me. The man said slowly. As expected, you know me. You are the seventh one. Innate destiny's pupils suddenly shrank, and she was a little at a loss at this moment, because she already knew the identity of this man. Of course, the biggest panic was that their transaction with Li Bai had been discovered by them. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 403. Don't worry, I won't do anything to you. After all, it was me who arranged the imitation of the pillar of creation that Yu gave you. And your slate was also given to you by me. How can I not know everything you do in private? The man said slowly, without any anger in his tone. Speaking of which, the seven of them have been secretly helping Li Bai. However, this kind of help is destined not to surface, nor can it be discovered by Li Bai before certain conditions are met. After all, they have a contract with Li Bai and the Li Bai who created them. Shouldn't you be hostile to Li Bai? Why do you want to help Li Bai so much? Also, what did you use me for? After Xuanhuan Destiny felt that the Seventh Lord really had no murderous intention towards her, she temporarily let go of her inner fear. Speaking of it, it's very complicated. A simple summary is that everything today was planned by Li Bai, including using you to experiment with the last method. The man slowly explained. You mean, if it weren't for my appearance, Li Bai would not have succeeded, and it was precisely because of my plan that the success of Li Bai's plan was achieved. And the method you mentioned was the way Li Bai corrupted everything in himself just now. Xuanhuan Destiny's eyes widened and he said in great horror. A bit convoluted, but almost the same. Hearing these words, Xuanhuan Destiny fell completely silent. At this moment, she didn't know what kind of emotions she was feeling. She thought that she cared so much about Li Bai just now, but in the end, it was just a conspiracy. However, after all, she was of innate origin and had a deal with Li Bai, so she admitted her defeat this time, but she still had to scold her. Li Bai, you are such a bastard. Do you know how worried I was just now? Innate Destiny angrily questioned. Are you worried about me, or yourself? Li Bai said teasingly. Asshole, what's the difference? Okay, after all, I took advantage of you and I'm sorry to you again. Snort. Innate Destiny is like an angry girlfriend at the moment. It cannot be coaxed on the surface, but it has been accepted in the heart. I did all this because I had no choice but to do it. Only by using you will my method be successful. Why, it has to be me. Because, in this era, you are the first innate originator to appear in front of me and have entanglements with me. I can't deny myself, so I need an innate originator to tell this possibility personally, and to make her believe it herself, to make her feel the ultimate fear, to deny everything, even at that moment, to believe that she cannot suspect. Only in this way can I completely open that crack. Only then can I completely deny myself. Li Bai said lightly. You have been planning for so long, and what are you doing all this for? Xuanhuan Destiny asked unhappily. There is no specific purpose. I just want to try this method to see if it works. After all, you are an innate destiny. Although I can predict all this to the greatest extent, there will be a slight deviation after all. But, I finally made the right bet. Li Bai's face showed a look that seemed to be forced. You are simply a lunatic. For this little, seemingly impossible possibility, you can even take advantage of decay yourself. Do you know that countless living beings have died now because of you? There are also countless small thousand worlds that have completely become fans. Although Xiantian Destiny had accepted the apology, she still held back her inner anger when she heard Li Bai's explanation. She had never seen such a crazy creature, so crazy that he used himself for experiments. It doesn't matter. To me, they are just a drop in the ocean after all. Furthermore, they will be reincarnated sooner or later. Let's let them experience the feeling of death. Besides, I have always been like this, treating all living beings as chess pieces. Even I can be used as a chess piece. It's not like you don't know. Why, are you showing mercy? Li Bai said lightly. That's not true. After all, at our level, the life and death of these ants is not important anymore. Being able to become a chess piece is also an honor, especially for you, Li Bai's chess piece. And those so-called beliefs are only for those weak creatures. For us, faith is the most ridiculous source. No, it may not be called a source. It is just a way for some creatures to comfort their hearts. It's just, the fairyland, don't you care? Xiantian Destiny said casually, these words may be cruel and extremely uncomfortable for all living beings to hear, but they are an eternal fact. Even the Emperor will regard mortals as city ants, let alone living beings like them. No matter how many ants die, the order will not change at all. After all, they can reproduce endlessly, but there will only be one innate originator. You don't need to worry about this. After all, the world is still experimenting. I control it very well and avoid casualties to the greatest extent. Li Bai said with a smile. I almost forgot that you have an experiment in the universe. Anyway, they don't know how many times they have reincarnated. Okay, in this case, my purpose today has been achieved. I must be the only one who can hear Li Bai's personal apology. Next, it's your conversation. I won't get involved. Innate Destiny said slowly. Are you leaving? Otherwise, I was contaminated with your breath just now, and my phantom is almost exhausted. Your original body. Li Bai said slowly. The time is not up yet, I'm still sleeping. By the way, I almost forgot, this thing is for you. After Xiantian Destiny finished speaking, he threw a crystal fragment to Li Bai. The moment it fell into Li Bai's hands, he felt an extremely familiar, but unfamiliar smell. This is, my memory fragment. Li Bai's eyes kept fluctuating, and he said in surprise. Yes, it's your memory fragment. And it's the one that the spirits read. Haha, I understand. The reason why the spirits can't read the memory behind it is because that memory fragment was forged by you. There is actually nothing behind it. A gleam of light flashed in Li Bai's eyes. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 404. Hearing Li Bai's words, Innate Destiny nodded and had no intention of hiding it. You guessed right. After all, these are your memory fragments. I have a deal with you. How can I hand over the real piece to them? But don't worry, even I can't explore the secrets behind it. Only you can, only then can the dusty memories be opened. How did you get it? Don't tell me, he gave it to you. Li Bai's eyes glanced somewhere and asked doubtfully. Haha, Li Bai, I didn't give this to her. I only gave her the stone slab and the imitation pillar of creation. The man's words echoed immediately, as if he wanted to put aside this relationship. Although they have been helping Li Bai more or less for countless epochs, it does not mean that they can take all the blame. You will know in the future, you will always see him, and, I guess, this day is not far away. After all, he has done so many things for you, even Xiaju and I can't compare. Okay, Li Bai, remember, you owe me a condition. There is no need to explain too much about innate destiny. Okay, I will remember this condition. Li Bai nodded and said. That's good. After finishing speaking, the shadow of innate destiny gradually became dim, the light slowly disappeared, and finally, it completely dissipated. Just like that, this scene where both eyes have a purpose is over for now. However, both parties also got the results they wanted. Innate destiny reminded Li Bai that there was a deal between them, and obtained one of Li Bai's conditions. Li Bai, on the other hand, relied on his innate destiny to finally try something he had never tried before. Not only that, he also got the memory fragments he needed most at present. Although there are still many secrets in it, Li Bai believes that these secrets will gradually surface in the future. It's getting more and more interesting, isn't it, Li Bai? After the innate destiny disappeared, the man said quietly. Well, a little bit of things did happen that I couldn't control, and they deviated from their original trajectory, but maybe it's not a bad thing for me. Okay, next, it's the two of us. Aren't you ready to show up? Li Bai looked at the empty space and sighed. Does it matter whether I show up or not to our conversation? The man's voice came out slowly. He clearly called himself an old man, but his tone did not sound like he was in his twilight years at all. Instead, it was full of the ultimate power of life. Well, since you don't want to show up, forget it. I'm just curious about what you, the seventh one, look like. Li Bai didn't force it anymore. Tell me, you used such an extreme method to force me out. What can you ask me about? Don't tell me, you're just acting on a whim. The man's voice said slowly. Let me ask you, Xuanhuan is the source of the immortal bones. In fact, your dependents did not die, right? In other words, it was not him who died? Li Bai asked slowly. Haha, it seems that you still can't help but care about this. You've already found some clues, haven't you? Presumably, you must have used the immortal bones that you have come into contact with for countless epochs, do you know this? There was a hint of amusement in the man's voice, as if he had anticipated such a thing. That's right, in that battle, when I killed Xuanhuan for the first time and scattered the 6 immortal bones, I discovered a clue. At that time, I discovered that these fairy bones had an aura that I was not familiar with. This aura seemed to be able to copy everything, including laws, time, fate, cause and effect, the root of everything. It's just that I didn't believe it at the time. It wasn't until today that I saw these 7 pillars of creation and learned that you copied them, that I finally became firm in this idea. The 6 immortal bones now are just copies, right? Li Bai spoke with a calm tone. Ha ha ha, smart. But as far as I'm concerned, what do you think is the difference between these replicas of the 6 immortal bones and the real ones? Indeed not, the abilities are exactly the same, there is just a slight difference in aura, but this flaw can almost be ignored. Li Bai nodded and said, and then asked. That Xuanhuan, the so-called source of immortal bones, is actually a part of yourself, right? Oh, amazing, you can even guess this. Yes, the source of the immortal bones does come from me, and it is also formed from my ribs. After all, as the creators of everything, we always have to provide these creatures with some opportunities to change their lives, don't we? But, we can't completely control it, so when the rain comes, the meaning of my creation will be lost. The man said slowly. Let me guess, since these 6 immortal bones were created by you, after a long period of evolution, their own spiritual wisdom was born. Then they continued to split, and then they became the main god of wisdom, the main god of plague, and the main god of war. Lord God, there is such a thing as eyebrow fairy. In that case, why not guess my code name? The man did not answer Li Bai's question directly, but instead asked a seemingly unrelated question. Your code name? To be honest, I have thought of many possible identities for you before, but none of them fits the bill, because the code names of the first 6 are all special. These 6 actually contain all the factors in the world, the starting point of everything, from existence to non-existence, from virtuality to reality, of course, except me. But, there is no end to all this, the end of everything. Of course, maybe, there is no real end. So, after eliminating all the impossibilities, there is only one possibility left. Li Bai slowly lowered his head, his eyes flashing with light, and his tone became extremely serious and sharp. Tell me, let me see if it is correct. The man's tone was full of expectation. That is replication, or reciprocation. Different from reincarnation. This reciprocation is only for you 7. I think you should have repeated it many times, and you are the last link to ensure the possibility of an end, and it is also the most critical link. When you find that the road to the end is not feasible, you will repeat everything before and become the starting point of everything again, from existence to non-existence, from reality to illusion, since a new fork in the road is generated. This point is quite similar to my experiment in the heavens and the worlds. I even doubt whether we are one. I don't know, am I right? Li Bai slowly raised his head, with a smile on his lips. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 405. After saying these words, there was silence for a long time, until a ray of light pierced the darkness of this space, and then a round of applause came slowly. Bang bang bang. Every time you clap, it seems as if all the materials in the world, including time, are shaken, and it seems as if it is repeated again. Ha 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 ha. As expected of Li Bai. Awesome, so awesome. You can actually deduce my identity with just this little piece of information. I have to sigh, your deductions and your wisdom surpass all living beings. Even the Lord God of wisdom is not even 1/10,000th as good as you. No wonder you can become a creator and a thorn in their side. You are so important. The man's tone was full of excitement, especially the last 2 sentences, which seemed a bit inexplicable. Li Bai was right, they were one. After all, they were all created by Li Bai, and they also inherited some aspects. It shows some of Li Bai's character, especially in terms of experiments. It can be said that the word experiment sums up most of their time. What do you mean by your last 2 sentences? Who am I to be, a thorn in the eye or a thorn in the flesh? Li Bai's eyes narrowed and he asked doubtfully. Damn, when I got excited, I talked too much and almost spilled the beans. I hope he won't pursue it further. The man sighed inwardly. Haha, it's nothing. You may have heard wrong. It's a thorn in our side and a thorn in our flesh. The man explained casually. Of course, Li Bai would not believe it, but he did not pursue it any further. After all, there were enough secrets pressing on him now, waiting for him to unravel. Li Bai, don't you realize that our relationship is very special now? The man spoke again. Oh, how special. You want to kill us, and we also want to help, kill you. We can't call you an enemy, but we can't call you a friend either. But unfortunately, there has always been a line between us, connecting us. The man said slowly. You just said the wrong thing. You want to say help. Li Bai's eyes narrowed and he said slowly. Is there any? The man was stunned for a moment and said. But, come to think of it, you did help me. This is actually true. Then, Li Bai changed the subject. Well, whatever you think, whether it's helping or killing you, anyway, it seems that we are on the same side in some respects. So, what's the reason for all this? Li Bai asked slowly. Actually, this sentence should be what I say to you, isn't it? Haha, okay, I won't beat you in circles. Where is the Twilight Kingdom? Li Bai's tone became extremely serious. Ha ha ha, this is probably the most important reason why you forced me to show up. You already know our secrets, and through your memory fragments, you also know a little about the Twilight Kingdom. The man said slowly. Yes, not only that, I also know that you are all created. Li Bai directly told the biggest secret without any scruples. And the man was not surprised at all. Oh, you just said it like that. You don't seem surprised that I know about this. Li Bai asked lightly. Haha, you will know things sooner or later, so why should I be surprised? Tell me what you know about the Twilight Kingdom. The man asked slowly. Only a few things. It's an extremely legendary place anyway. Li Bai said slowly. Li Bai, have you ever thought about it? Maybe, sometimes all these things are not done deliberately by us, but because we have no choice but to do this because we listen to someone's words. What do you mean by this, someone? Who exactly are you talking about? Li Bai immediately questioned. However, the man ignored Li Bai's words and instead said to himself. Do you think those people in the Twilight Kingdom are really a good group of people? Their desires, their greed, everything they pursue, has reached a pathological level. Maybe we are protecting all of this. Perhaps all of this is inextricably linked to you. After a long silence. What do you mean and why are you telling me all this? What on earth does this have to do with me? Li Bai's eyes were filled with mist that wouldn't go away. I'm just telling you. Maybe the answer you want is not with us, nor is it in this era. If, one day, they come back, Li Bai, how will you deal with it? The man asked again. This time, there was a hint of begging in his tone, and a hint of asking for help. How strong are they? It's terrible, so terrible that it's beyond your imagination. For example, you are now a so-called ant in front of them. They can erase and create the whole river of time at will. Just from this, you should know how terrible they are. I'm not sure, and I don't know. After listening to the man's answer, Li Bai shook his head and said. He, we are not in a hurry to find the answer to this question. However, Li Bai, we must remind you that the time left for you and me is not much. You must completely find all your memory fragments within an era. And, you must go to the disordered world. The man then said slowly. You mean, the other disordered world? Yes. The reason? Because, that is the place you created and brought here. As the master, shouldn't you settle everything? The man's words made Li Bai's heartstrings shake constantly. The shock brought to Li Bai by this sentence was no less than the moment when he learned that the innate originator was created, and even more than that. I created it, I brought it here, how is this possible? Li Bai pointed at himself blankly. For the first time, he felt the untouchable secret shrouding his head. I can't tell you the specific content now, but I can remind you of one thing. What? Some innate originators and their supervisors have reached a contract with something there. They are gradually getting out of our control. You must be careful. The man's words were full of reminders. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 406. I have a question. After Li Bai heard these remarks, he immediately thought of something. You say. Was the innate origin that appeared in the immortal realm, consistent with what you said? What exactly does this agreement refer to? We have reached some kind of contract with the creatures there. With all due respect, the possibility is very high. I don't know what secret they discovered. It may be very fatal to us. Therefore, he will appear in front of you, our mortal enemy. That's why I asked you to go to the disordered world and investigate what's inside. And, maybe, your evil clone is in there. The man's words were extremely general and vague, but between the lines, there was no need for Li Bai to go to the Discord world in person. Can't you go? Li Bai asked doubtfully. According to the strength of the 7 of them, no matter how weird it is, it shouldn't be a difficult thing for them. We can't go because of certain conditions, and we can't go. Okay, Li Bai, my time has come. I have told you enough. The rest needs to be explored step by yourself and to find everything you have lost. Before we arrived, there was always a relationship between us as enemies and friends. I hope you can know. The next time we meet, I guess it will be when some secrets are truly revealed. I look forward to that day. Also looking forward to the real Li Bai. After saying that, the man disappeared directly into the space without giving Li Bai any chance. Wait, I have a few more questions. Li Bai shouted anxiously, but no matter how much time passed, there was no reply from Space Love You. This guy left in such a hurry. Leave me a lot of secrets. Li Bai frowned and said. Interesting, out of their control. Also, what is the contract between them? Why, like Xiaju, does he have to let me go to the disordered world? Is it just because I created it and brought it to him? Come. Li Bai unconsciously rubbed his eyebrows. These secrets were floating in Li Bai's mind like a mass of paste at the moment. Grown-ups. Master. Li Bai. And just as Li Bai was thinking, Xuanhuan, Wu Ming, and others slowly appeared. You're awake. Li Bai, why did you ask us to avoid you just now? Did you and that woman do something shady? Xiaoxi said angrily. What are you thinking about? What can I do with her that won't see the light of day? Li Bai rolled his eyes and said. Sir, I just felt a breath that seemed to be burying the times, so I woke up. What is going on? Wu Ming asked with a frown. It's nothing, you don't have to worry, everything has been solved. Li Bai said slowly. Young master, she is born with destiny. That's right, he's gone. Oh, I still have many words I want to say. The ancestor Changling said regretfully. Sir, it seems that you have got what you want. Not only that, these things are incredibly hard to chew. Wu Ming said softly after seeing Li Bai's expression. It's not bad. This trip, I got some things I wanted, and I didn't live up to it. Li Bai nodded and said. In that case, sir, it's time for me to disappear too. Immediately, Wu Ming nodded and said. I can resurrect you. It's just that you need to wait for a while. Li Bai glanced at Wu Ming and said seriously. No need, sir, my destiny has been fulfilled in that battle of origin. There is nothing in this world that I can miss, and my journey has come to an end. I am still very satisfied with this. Let everything return to dust, dust to dust. Wu Ming shook his head and directly rejected Li Bai. Well, in that case, I respect you. Okay, sir, I won't say any provocative words. It's too disgusting. I wish you can find the answer as soon as possible and reach the end of the road. Wu Ming, it's finally over. After saying that, Wu Ming gradually dissipated, like a ray of breeze, completely dissipating along with his body. Alas, as expected, even those who originate the day after tomorrow can't escape their true fall. What a pity for such an acquired originator. There is always a one-word difference between acquired and innate, but this one seems to have already sealed their fate. The ancestor sighed and said sadly. Yes, everything will eventually fall into ruins. Xiaoxi nodded and said after hearing this. Okay, Li Bai, I have to leave too. Immediately, Xiaoxi said to Li Bai. Where are you going again? Li Bai said doubtfully. I'm going to trace the past of the cursed temple. After all, I think I still have the qualification now. Xiaoxi patted his chest and said. Well, after all, you have the right to know all these things. I wish you all the best. Li Bai smiled and touched Xiaoxi's head, and Zioxi also closed his eyes slightly, enjoying the warmth of Li Bai's palm for a short time. Goodbye, Li Bai. Next time we meet, you will face a brand new me, a different cursed goddess, Zioxi. Zioxi's eyes flashed with light. Okay, I look forward to it. Li Bai said with a smile. At this moment, Zioxi's face seemed to overlap with the Zioxi in his memory. After that, Zioxi's figure also disappeared in this space. Afterwards, Li Bai looked at the ancestor, Xiao Leng, and Xiao Yao. You. Sir, we are leaving too. Since I have let go of all this, I am ready to return to the nameless land and give everything I have to Xiao Yao and Xiao Leng. The ancestor said lovingly to the two girls. The two girls naturally understood what the ancestor said, and then their eyes turned red and tears flowed down. Ancestor! Ancestor! Good children, don't cry. With the help of adults, I have let go of everything. You should be happy. Your ancestor is not a traitor. The ancestor raised his white hands lightly, wiped away the tears of the two girls, and said with a smile. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 407. But, we can't bear to part with it. Xiao Yao cries like pear blossoms with rain. She has inherited the emotional aspect of her ancestor. Naturally, in this aspect, she is more easily influenced by emotions than Xiao Leng. Children, there are always joys and sorrows in the world. No one, no living thing, can escape. It's just that the time has not come yet. You too, your path, and your future, I can't let you go back to my path. I look forward to the day when you transcend yourself, even if you become the origin of tomorrow. Can you promise the ancestor? The ancestor looked at the two women seriously and said. Ancestor, we will do it. That's right, ancestor, don't worry, we will definitely do it. Child, can you please call me mother? Immediately, the ancestor said tremblingly, she was afraid of hearing the disappointing result, this was her last wish. Mother! Mother! The two women shouted without any hesitation, letting tears spread to the corners of their mouths. Good boy, my child. When the ancestor heard these two words, he silently shed a drop of hot tears. Sir, can I ask you a favor? Then, the ancestor looked at Li Bai and said. That said, within my ability, I will be as satisfied as possible. Li Bai nodded and said. Sir, after Xiao Leng and Xiao Yao completely inherit everything from me, I hope you will lead all the creatures in the unknown land to leave that place. That place belongs to me, but it does not belong to Xiao Leng and Xiao Yao. Do anything to them. It's a prison. The ancestor said humbly. Okay, no problem, I promise you. Thank you, sir. If there is reincarnation, I hope that Chang Ling can meet the adults soon in that life. The ancestor bowed solemnly and said. Okay, kid, let's go. Well, mother. Okay, mother. Goodbye, my lord. Goodbye, big pervert. After saying that, the ancestor took Xiao Leng and Xiao Yao and left this space. Once again, Li Bai is the only one left. Just like before, no matter what happens, in the end, he will be the only one left. Only his loneliness and cold figure show up in this space. Oh, sure enough, in the end, there is only loneliness, which always stays with me. Li Bai said mockingly. Forget it, I've already gotten used to it after a long time. It's time to leave and completely resolve the matter in the eternal upper realm. Immediately, after Li Bai put away the 7 imitation pillars of creation, he left the space in a flash. Perhaps, in the long era to come, no one will know about the extremely horrific things that happened here. All of these will eventually be buried and sealed in the long river of history. However, one day, I believe, someone will open it again and trace this brief, terrifying history. At this moment, the eternal upper realm. The strange thing is that what happened just now did not affect the creatures in the eternal upper world. They seemed not to know that they were almost buried in this era just now. Tisk tisk, how long has it been since then? I wonder what happened to the war between the Daijun clan and the Spirit clan. Yes, it's a pity that we don't know the specific location of the ancestral land of the Spirit clan. Otherwise, we can still observe it from a distance. Just wait, the spiritual race will be destroyed sooner or later. After all, this time almost all the famous imperial clans in the upper world are involved. Ha ha ha, I can't wait to see a brand new upper realm. Countless creatures are discussing the demise of the Spirit clan. After all, the Spirit clan has squeezed and plundered all eras, and they hate it with all their heart. At this moment, within the Immortal Sword Heavenly Palace. Do you think the spiritual clan can really be destroyed? Xuanhuan said slowly. Of course, this is doomed. Dijun Lingfeng said with certainty. No matter what, this is a battle that determines the life and death of all our imperial clan. If we win, the pattern of the eternal upper world will completely change. Dijun Wei said slowly. What if we lose? Mou said intermittently with heavy eyes. Bah, you crow mouth, there is no way we will lose. Dijun Lingfeng said angrily. If so, lose. The upper world will naturally become the hunting ground of the spirit tribe for all eternity. From generation to generation, there will be no chance of counterattack, and we will also be buried in the long river of history. Dijun Wei said slowly. No, we will definitely win. That's right, we are going to participate in the road to all realms, we will definitely win. Speaking of which, there doesn't seem to be much time left on the road to all realms. Xuanhuan said slowly. That's right, there are only 3 years. By then, the road to all realms will be completely opened. Dijun Wei nodded and said. What rewards will there be in this journey to the world? I don't know. We won't know all this until we open it. However, it will definitely be richer than the last time on the road to all realms. I remember that the road to all realms is divided into several stages, right? That's right, the lowest level is the realm of the God King, which is the battlefield for the geniuses of all realms. Up above, we can't participate. Haha, I can't wait to meet the geniuses from all walks of life. Don't be careless. The geniuses in other worlds are no worse than us. Dijun Wei frowned and said. Yes, especially the fairyland. Xuanhuan said in a serious tone. Fairy realm. That world bordering the boundless sea. And, that fairyland that destroyed the outer realm. Mou said slowly with a faint light flashing in her eyes. 2 wars, a battle of emperors fall, and a destruction of the outer realm, made the entire world see the horror of the immortal realm. That's right, unlike our eternal comfort in the upper realm, the immortal realm has suffered from wars all year round, especially the Emperor's Fall War that shocked all the worlds. Their genius can be said to have truly grown up in the bath of blood and fire. We must not take it lightly. Even the emperors we are familiar with, the Azure Emperor, the Chongpupil Emperor, the Mortal Emperor, these great emperors on the Eternal Emperor list, all fought all the way. You can imagine how terrifying the geniuses of the immortal realm are. Not only that, this time on the road to all realms, there may be many ancient but long-hidden race geniuses showing up. Dijun Wei looked at the geniuses and warned. Don't worry, we're not brainless. If you can't fight, you can't run away either. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 408. At this moment, in a strange place in the upper world, this place is actually the original station of the heavenly Dao in the eternal upper world, but now it has become the Spirit Clan. And in this strangeness, there are many small worlds. In the most secret small world among them, blood dyed a large area of land red, and the bloody wind blew the broken corpses wantonly. Various magic weapons lost their luster and became piles of waste. The sky has been buried in blood and completely turned into purgatory. From time to time, there are unimaginable explosions, sweeping across the entire small world, riddled with holes, and ruins are everywhere. This world is the true ancestral land of the Spirit Clan, and it is also the small world created by the half-step creator of the Spirit Clan. At this moment, the only one left in the Spirit Clan was the half-step creator, the founder of the Spirit Clan, who was struggling to support the clan. Although there was no scar on his body, his breath and path had begun to become disordered. All the rest of the Spirit Clan, including the remaining ancestors and the Spirit Clan's pride, had already been slaughtered by the Daijun clan. The pride of the Tianling clan, as well as the Spirit Son and the Spirit Daughter, had never figured out that the lower class forces of the Daijun clan had the courage to destroy their Spirit Clan. Of course, so far in the war, the Daijun clan had lost countless god kings and quasi-emperors. Even 6 great emperors had fallen. And these 4 great emperors were all from a single imperial clan with only one great emperor. The rest of the great emperors were also scarred, and their great emperor's origins were also damaged. Their bodies were covered with terrible scars, and drops of blood kept dripping onto the ground, forming dense and bottomless giant holes. The blood of the great emperor is as heavy as a mountain. Most of the wounds were caused by breaking through the spirit race's protective formation. After all, the spirit race's protective formation has gathered the power of the upper realm for countless epochs. It is too terrible. If it weren't for the rune realm creature Dashachun, perhaps even Niao Niao and others would have perished. Old man, give up. This time, your spirit race will eventually be destroyed. This is your fate, you can't escape it. At this moment, the ancestor of the Daijun clan, a half-step creator, said to the old man in front of him who had already stepped half a foot into decay. I could never have imagined it. Such a meticulous plan was disrupted by Li Bai. And it buried so many lives of our Ling clan all at once. Sure enough, Li Bai is our lifelong enemy. Unfortunately, this lifelong enemy did not regard us as enemies. The creator of the Ling clan had no expression on his face, and he spoke slowly, as if he did not care whether the Ling clan was destroyed. Ling, you are already good enough. Your wisdom, your strategy, and your courage far exceed mine. Since you designed to bury the original heavenly Dao of the upper realm, you have plundered the wealth of the upper realm for many epochs. Isn't that enough? The creator of the Dijun clan frowned and asked slowly, and Ling was the real name of this creator, and Dijun was also the real name of the creator of the Dijun clan. Enough, how can it be enough? You have fought with me for so many epochs, don't you know my ultimate goal? Then, the half-step creator of the spirit race looked at Ling Mei with a glimmer of regret in his eyes. Are you Ling Mei? Your appearance has changed a lot. He, to be precise, I am not called Ling Mei, because the surname Ling is not worthy. When your spirit race is destroyed, I will become Yongheng Mei. Ling Mei said coldly, that's right, the surnames of all the creatures in the eternal land are eternal. This is mainly because of the eternal power in their bodies. It seems that you already know your life experience. After all, I didn't hide it. The creator of the spirit race said in a flat tone. Where are my parents? Ling Mei's eyes were bloodshot, and he clenched his silver teeth. His breath began to be a little confused. Here. In order to seize your eternal power, I trapped them in my inner universe. But unfortunately, after endless time, they have not been refined. The creator of the spirit race pointed to his heart, and then continued. Of course, according to reason, with their strength, I can't trap them in my inner universe. After all, they are the real creators. But fortunately, you exist. You happened to be in an extremely dangerous state at that time, so I used this point to imprison your parents. You deserve to die, you deserve to die, all of you spirit race deserve to die. Hearing this, Ling Mei's body trembled continuously, and suddenly his mind outlined the way his parents were determined to protect him, and his reason was instantly submerged. The next moment, Ling Mei burst out with hatred that was enough to submerge the entire upper world. Just as he was about to rush up, he was stopped by the emperors. Big sister, calm down. Ling Mei, calm down. You are no match at all now, you are just a supreme being. At least, your parents are still alive. After being stopped and persuaded by the emperors, Ling Mei finally regained her sanity. Why did you do this? My parents also helped you spirits back then. But you repay kindness with hatred. Ling Mei said viciously. Yes, they did help us. But there is no way, the temptation of eternal power is too great. Except for those originators, no one can resist the temptation of eternal power, and I am naturally among them. But it's a pity that I still don't have the ability to refine them and extract eternal power from them. Even if they feel all your pain and hatred, they will never reveal any weaknesses. The half-step creator of the spirits shook his head and sighed, as if regretting all this. So, this is the reason why you have the ability to kill me, but you don't let me die. That's right, as long as you are still alive, your parents will not resist. Old Dijun, how long have we lived? Then, the creator of the spirits raised his head, skipped this topic, and asked Dijun. His eyes seemed to recall a picture after another. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 409. From the beginning of chaos to the present, who can really remember clearly? Time is already a vague concept to both of us. Dijun shook his head and said slowly. Yeah, it's so worn that even time is a vague concept. You know, my biggest wish is to break through this damn half-step creator. Ling's voice suddenly became extremely excited. That's our fate, you know. Our path is to reach the half-step creator after all. Dijun shook his head and said. That's why I won't give in. Ever since I got that piece of memory, I have spent countless hours planning. Even if it means sacrificing the entire Eldar race, as long as it allows me to break through, I am willing. It's a pity that in the end, the success fell short. He said with inspiration, his old body filled with an aura of decadence. It's just a dream after all. You can kill yourself. Dijun said slowly. Why should I commit suicide? We are all half-step creators. No one can kill the other. If this war continues, only the two of us will be left in the end. A slight smile appeared at the corner of Ling's mouth and he said slowly. I can't be killed, but that doesn't mean others can't be killed. For example, my lord. Dijun said with a smile. Hearing these words, Ling's eyes burned with hatred again, but it was quickly wiped away. Just in time, I also have something to ask him. At this moment, a figure in white slowly appeared above the sky. Oh, tell me, there is something you want to ask me. Hearing this sentence, Ling's pupils suddenly tightened, as if a mouse met a cat. Grown-ups. It's your lord has appeared. The emperor said excitedly. Taishu, please retreat, your spirit will stay. Here, just leave it to me. Just go and rectify the outside world and let the news out. Li Bai said slowly to all the emperors. Yes, sir. Master, don't you need me to imprison this old man? De Susi-chun asked blankly, he hasn't exerted his strength yet. De Sha-chun, are you stupid? The adults are back, how can we still use you? Han Shui gave Da Shi-chun a headache. He, that's right. After saying that, Emperor Jun Taishu left this small world with all the great emperors, leaving only Ling, Emperor Jun, and Ling Biao. Dijun, I have met you, sir. Dijun said respectfully after seeing Li Bai. I didn't expect that the once high-spirited Emperor Jun, who always competed with the Qing Emperor, has now become a twilight old man with only half a life left. Li Bai glanced at Dijun and sighed. Haha, it's rare that adults can still remember me. Oh, what a pity, brother Kingdi. If he hadn't died midway, his achievements would definitely be higher than mine, and he would have even touched the realm above creation. Dijun said with a sigh, his tone full of regret. That's Xiaoking's own choice. Although I can interfere, I can't do that. I can only respect it. However, I believe that one day, I will completely resurrect them. Li Bai's eyes showed traces of longing. We naturally believe what you say, sir, and we also believe that Emperor Qing and the others will be able to have wine and talk with me again one day. By the way, sir, has your matter been resolved? Then Dijun stopped talking about this topic and asked slowly. Yeah, but it went much faster than I expected. Sir, I don't know which innate originator you saw. Hearing this, Ling also suppressed the fear in his heart and looked at Li Bai. Innate destiny. Li Bai said slowly. Innate destiny. Is he the one in the land of disaster and the heaven of fate? That's right, who else but her can be called an innate destiny? I didn't expect it would be her. Dijun said with sudden realization. Okay, let's not talk about this for now. Let's talk about it. Ask me if you have any questions. Li Bai looked at Xiang Ling and said slowly. Li Bai, you are still haunted. I'm very curious, what does this matter have to do with you, and why do you have to destroy my spiritual clan? Ling asked extremely curiously. At this moment, there was no anger. The moment Li Bai appeared, his fate was doomed. However, before falling, he had to ask some questions to understand clearly. You took something you shouldn't have taken and read it, what do you think? Of course, maybe this is not your fault, you don't know it. But this is the result after the chess pieces have their own ideas on the chessboard of heaven and earth. A chess piece must have the consciousness of a chess piece. Li Bai said lightly. Took something you shouldn't have. In an instant, Ling immediately thought of the memory fragment, and then said in horror. You mean, that memory fragment is, yours? What did you say? So that's the case, no wonder, no wonder. Ling said with a wry smile, finally understanding the root of all this. Indeed, if they had not explored the memory fragment at the beginning, or if they had not implemented this plan later, Li Bai probably would not have said anything. But the mistake was that they not only explored it, but also implemented it with ambition. Li Bai, if we hadn't taken it back then, would you have let the spiritual tribe go? Won't. Why? Because, I owe a favor to the original heavenly Dao in the upper world. Not only that, I also met their orphans. Orphan? Impossible, they were all obviously killed by us. Ling said in disbelief. Haha, after all, it is the way of heaven in the eternal upper world. As invaders, how can you not leave anything behind? It's a pity that the heavenly Dao at that time was still very weak. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been able to take advantage of it and become one of the ancient races. There is still a huge gap between you and a truly ancient race like the ancient race. Li Bai said lightly. There is no other way. In order to break through the half-step creation, I can only do this. Ling said helplessly. Okay, that's it? Do you do it yourself, or do I do it? Li Bai asked in a cold tone. Haha, there's no need to trouble Lord Bai to do it himself. Today may be my fate. However, being able to become a chess piece in your hands is a good ending. Goodbye, old friend. We have fought for so many epochs, but you won in the end. After Ling finished speaking, he directly began to burn the source of creation, the path of creation, the path of exploration, and everything else in his body. Then, and then, he began to burn the power of life in his body. Gradually, his breath began to disappear, all the things he cultivated were turned into fragments and returned to the heavens and worlds, and his body began to gradually turn into nothingness. Finally, Ling took a deep look at the world, his eyes filled with hatred. What he hates is not Li Bai, but why he was born in all the worlds. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 410. Upon seeing this, Ling Ye immediately asked anxiously. Sir, my parents. Don't worry, they will be fine. After all, they are the two real creators. Even if a half-step creation dies naturally, it will not be affected. As the spiritual aura weakens, this small world begins to gradually collapse, and various things originating from the spirit gradually disappear. After all, the world is created by the spirit. With the death of the spirit, it will naturally collapse. Old friend, I hope I can really beat you next time. Li Bai, I hope I will never see you again next time. It's best if I can't touch you at all. Haha, this sentence may disappoint you. Li Bai shook his head and said. After saying that, the spirit completely disappeared, and along with it, the entire world also completely disappeared. In this way, a half-step creator chose the most honorable way to die. Way to go, old friend. Dijun said with a hint of sadness. After all, the two of them have been fighting for countless epochs, and it is inevitable that they will be a bit sad when the rabbit dies and the fox dies. At this moment, in the distant deep space universe, two light spots quickly hit Li Bai and others. As the light spot approached, Ling Biao and others could clearly see that they were two figures, one male and one female. That is. Ling Ye's eyes were red and his breathing became extremely rapid. I can feel the eternal power in them, they should be your parents. Dijun said with a smile. Then, Li Bai waved his hand and instantly grasped these 2 points of light. Then, two figures slowly appeared in front of everyone's eyes. The two of them had their eyes closed, the man was extremely handsome, and the woman was extremely graceful. However, at this moment, their breath was very weak, so weak that it was like a candle that could be extinguished by a wisp of breeze. And Ling Biao also inherited part of their facial features. Father. Mother. Ling Biao didn't care so much, and hugged the two of them directly, murmuring constantly. At the same time, while hugging the two, a familiar feeling from the blood continuously washed away Ling Biao's extremely twisted hatred. Sir, my parents. Seeing that his parents could not be awakened no matter what, Ling Ying asked Li Bai eagerly. Don't worry, it's okay. After all, your parents have suffered countless epochs of torture. Although they won't die, they will inevitably be a little damaged. However, they are also smart. They know that you are their only weakness, so they directly close their consciousness and cannot feel your pain. They can only feel whether you are alive or not. Only in this way can they ensure that they are not attacked by spirits, and can they truly protect you. Li Bai said lightly. Father, mother. Ling Ye could not stop crying at this moment. She didn't know that her parents had done so much to protect her life. The soul is back. Then, Li Bai waved his big hand, and wisps of fairy light continued to penetrate into the bodies of the two of them. At this moment, the ban on the two of them collapsed in an instant. After an unknown amount of time passed, the two of them suddenly shouted in unison. Year. I'm here, father, mother, I'm here, Yeer is always here. Ling Biao sat on her knees in front of the two of them, holding her parents' hands tightly. At this moment, she was not a supreme being, she was just a little girl who had found her parents. Immediately, the two slowly opened their eyes. Where am I? Father, mother, you finally woke up. Yeer misses you so much. Upon seeing this, Ling Ying jumped directly into the arms of the two of them. After feeling the warmth of family affection, the vacancy in Ling Ying's heart was finally filled. Similarly, the two of them also regained their consciousness after feeling their blood. Daughter, you are my daughter. Yeer, it's my Yeer, am I right? When the two of them saw the spirit bundle in their arms, they said extremely excitedly, with tears streaming down their eyes. Mother, you read that right, I am your concubine. I finally found you, father and mother. Ling Bian burst into tears. Tisk, tisk, it's such a touching scene. I'm old, I can't bear to see this. Dijun's eyes turned red and he said slowly. Come on, you have so many wives, sons, and grandsons, why are you pretending? Li Bai said helplessly. Hey, sir, affection arises from the situation. Family affection is always the weakest place for us, weak creatures. Dijun scratched his head and said. At this moment, Ling Ai's father suddenly said. No, we shouldn't be in that old guy's inner universe now. Did he break his promise and send Yeer into court death? He deserves to die. Boom. Wisps of extremely terrifying aura erupted from the two of them. Even after countless epochs of torture, this aura still made Dijun feel extremely frightened. This is the creator. As expected, he is the creature who started to create the meridians of the world. It's so terrifying. I, a half-step creator, am simply an ant. Dijun said with a wry smile. It seems that you, this old man, are still a little yearning for it. I always thought you were so comfortable. Li Bai said with a smile. Sir, although I am very satisfied with my current state, but who among the creatures who can reach half-step of creation does not really desire to break through and become a true creator? However, I also know that my talent is far inferior to King Di and the others. So, my biggest hope now is that the Dijun clan can truly grow up to the point where they no longer need me. Dijun shook his head and said slowly. After hearing Dijun's words, Li Bai murmured to himself. Yes, if Xiaoqing, the other side and the others had not fallen, they might also be creators now. On the other side, after hearing what his father said, Ling Ye patiently told the two people what happened. After hearing the humiliation Ling Ye suffered, Ling Ye's mother couldn't help but shed tears. It's us. I'm sorry for you, Yeer. Your mother is useless. You have to endure so much humiliation. It's okay, mother, now, the spirit tribe has been completely wiped out by adults, and I have finally found you. Ling Biao said with a smile with tears in her eyes. What, the Eldar were annihilated? Daughter, are you telling the truth? Ling Ai's father said with great excitement. Of course, otherwise, how could I see you two? Later, Ling Ye told the two of them everything about Li Bai, including the matter of destroying the Eternal Land with one sword.